I thought you promised to wear a French maid's uniform the next time you did this.
The place is filthy.
Welcome back to Binge Point, the place where we revisit the shows that define generations and explore why they continue to matter long after their finales. Today, we're diving into one of television's most influential and groundbreaking sitcoms, Will and Grace. When it first premiered in 1998, few could have predicted the cultural impact this show would have. On the surface, it looked like a standard NBC sitcom. Two best friends living in New York, navigating work, love, and life. But beneath the surface, Will and Grace was quietly revolutionary. It placed a gay man and his straight female best friend at the heart of a primetime sitcom, and treated their relationship not as a novelty or a political statement, but as something normal, heartfelt, and universally relatable. In doing so, it didn't just make people laugh, it helped shift how millions of Americans saw the LGBTQ+ community, all while delivering some of the sharpest comedy writing of its era.
What's going on? What'd I miss?
We're just saying what we do for a living.
Oh, bad topic for both of you.
At its center were Will Truman and Grace Adler, two best friends whose connection defied easy definition. They weren't lovers, but their emotional intimacy often rivaled that of any romantic couple. Their friendship was complex, imperfect, codependent, and deeply funny, the kind of bond that felt real because it was real. McCormack and Messing had incredible on-screen chemistry, and the authenticity they brought to Will and Grace made audiences immediately care about them. But what elevated the show into pop culture legend was the introduction of their scene-stealing best friends, the fabulous, dramatic Jack McFarland and the hilariously self-absorbed socialite Karen Walker.
You're an adult, Jack.
Well, I don't want to be an adult anymore. It's very hard.
Together, these four formed one of the most iconic ensembles in TV history. Every line, every insult, every exaggerated gesture felt effortless. The chemistry was electric, and the comedic timing was razor-sharp. Jack and Karen's over-the-top antics could have easily become one-note gags, but the writing and performances turned them into layered, lovable caricatures, a mirror of society's absurdities and a celebration of individuality.
So, if you ever need a drinking buddy, I'll drink with you.
The brilliance of Will and Grace was in how it used humor to normalize conversations that were, at the time, considered taboo. In the late 90s, LGBTQ+ representation on American television was almost non-existent, and when it did appear, it was often confined to side characters, tragic storylines, or coded subtext. Will and Grace broke that mold completely. It didn't hide its characters behind implication, it embraced them fully. Will was openly gay, successful, and unapologetic, but he was also introspective, neurotic, and flawed. Not a stereotype, but a person. Jack, though flamboyant and comedic, represented a different kind of pride. Joyful, exaggerated, and free. Between the two of them, viewers saw a spectrum of gay identity rarely depicted on TV. And because these characters were written with such humanity, people who might have never interacted with openly gay individuals in real life found themselves relating to them, laughing with them, and rooting for them.
We're totally off it, too. We won't do it again.
You should have seen when she showed customs when they asked for her passport.
It's easy to forget how daring this was in 1998. Network executives were nervous. The idea of having a gay lead character in a primetime sitcom was considered a huge risk. But the risk paid off. The show quickly became a hit, earning critical acclaim, a massive fan base, and dozens of Emmy Awards. More importantly, it helped move culture forward. By being accessible, funny, and human, Will and Grace helped normalize what had too often been othered. It didn't lecture its audience. It invited them to laugh, and through laughter, to empathize.
And I are having a dinner party. Leo's ex-girlfriend is coming.
But beyond its cultural importance, Will and Grace succeeded because it was genuinely great television. Its writing was whip-smart, filled with clever dialogue, double entendres, and moments of genuine emotional resonance. It had a rhythm, a musicality, that kept it sharp even during its silliest moments. The show's ability to pivot from biting humor to heartfelt sincerity without ever feeling forced was its secret weapon. A single episode could make you laugh hysterically and then hit you with a moment so honest that it stayed with you long after the credits rolled. It was a sitcom with substance, something that many shows have tried to replicate since, but rarely achieve with such balance.
What?
I see the way you look at me when I shave my legs.
Well, that's because it happens so infrequently, I had to have to take a minute to figure out what you're doing.
When Will and Grace ended in 2006, it left behind a void. But its influence lingered everywhere. It had shown studios that audiences were ready, not just ready, but eager for more diverse and authentic storytelling. Without Will and Grace, there's a good chance we wouldn't have Modern Family, Schitt's Creek, or Glee, all shows that owe a part of their DNA to the path Will and Grace cleared. And then in 2017, something remarkable happened. The show returned. The revival era could have easily felt like a nostalgia grab, but instead, Will and Grace came back with purpose. The writing was just as sharp, the chemistry between the cast still magnetic, and the themes more relevant than ever. It tackled new issues: politics, technology, generational divides, while still celebrating the core message of friendship and acceptance. It proved that Will and Grace wasn't just a relic of the past. It was still a vital part of the cultural conversation.
So he's gay. He's still the same little boy who gave you highlights for the first time.
Watching it now, what stands out most is how timeless it feels. Yes, the fashion and references date it, but the themes, love, friendship, identity, belonging, are eternal. The humor still lands, the characters still resonate, and the heart of the show remains as strong as ever. Will and Grace reminds us that sitcoms, when done right, can be more than comfort television. They can be vehicles for change. They can challenge perceptions, open minds, and bring people together, all while making them laugh.
Left?
I only had 2 bites when I found a hair in the mushu. So I called the restaurant and they said, well, how do we know it's not your hair? And I said, well, I know how my hair tastes.
So why was Will and Grace so loved and so ahead of its time? Because it understood something fundamental about storytelling, that visibility, when paired with humanity and humor, can transform culture. It gave queer audiences representation when there was almost none, and gave everyone else a reason to care, not out of pity or guilt, but out of genuine affection. It made people laugh, yes, but it also made them think, reflect, and grow. Decades later, its influence is still felt not just in the shows that followed, but in the hearts of viewers who saw themselves on screen for the first time and finally felt seen. Will and Grace wasn't just a TV show. It was a cultural turning point disguised as a sitcom. And that's why, all these years later, it remains one of the most beloved and important sitcoms ever made.
This is whole milk. Great. I just drank whole milk. Now I'm fat and I'll never find love.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.